Hey guys, Ultra Magnus back with another Transformers review. This time we're going to take a look at an animated figure. It's a Voyager class figure. It's one of my favorites from the series. It's Ultra Magnus, and love this figure. There are a few things that kind of irk me about it, but nothing too terribly big. The biggest part's about transformation, and I'll talk about that. Yeah, this character is really awesome. He was one of the better characters, one of my more favorite characters from the show. Very G1 style in design, especially in his head sculpt. The voice actor really kind of captured that Ultra Magnus of G1. Robert Stack, he sounds very staunch, very conservative. He's a very aloof character. He's kind of odd. He's kind of, I think, out of touch from the other Autobots in the fact that he's seeing the bigger picture of Cybertron kind of deal, where Sentinel Prime's his right-hand bot, but I think he overlooks a lot of his personality defaults for the greater good of Cybertron, but he's really powerful too. One of the best scenes when the Dinobots jump out and attack him. They're attacking Sentinel Prime. You know, he's like, "Well, you afraid the big bad Decepticons are going to jump out of the bushes?" And Optimus is like, "No, Dinobots." And then, boom, here's Grimlock and the Dinobots. Magnus takes his hammer, slams it on the ground, all Thor style. Lightning comes down, and the Dinobots retract. So they really show you how powerful of a robot he is. Unfortunately, he gets sucker punched by Shockwave, and we never get to see a nice big epic battle between Ultra Magnus and Megatron, which I think would have been a spectacular fight. So that's unfortunate. Now his alternate mode here is a military vehicle. It's kind of a missile launching truck thing. Very big, very neat, very cool. Lots and lots of great detail. We got lots of rivets. The mirrors, we've got painted headlights and fog lamps and a grille and windows all over the place. It just looks really, really nice. Looks like this could have been, you know, the basis for like a fire truck or some kind of armored truck. We've got the tanks down there. We've got cool shock and support system above the wheels here. Just really nice. His hammer kind of goes into the back piece there. The only thing that's a little disappointing is the rear end of the vehicle is kind of lame. But other than that, everything else looks really, really nice. We've got these nice little panels and a little red button, and this is one of the coolest things, this little red button. How awesome is that? Very cool. And there's also a gimmick on here that works in the vehicle mode and in the robot mode. This little piece here will push up and forward, and we get a gun, which is very cool. It just adds some armament there for the vehicle. And then you can also break apart these pieces, and there are hidden guns underneath. Again, this works in robot mode that you can just flip out. Looking very cool. Flip these back up and just snap the front end back together again. And we get these really cool guns at the front of the vehicle that looks like he's just ready, heavily armored, heavily gunned. We're ready to rock and roll. Looks pretty darn awesome. I really dig this mode. Let's take a look at his robot mode. And now there are some issues with the transformation in the shoulders. It's really annoying because there's a double hinge and the thing is just really too damn hard to adjust, and that's probably the biggest drawback of the figure, is that transformation. And if you've got this guy and you've messed with him, you know what I'm talking about. So let's do some video magic and just flip over into robot mode, shall we? Alright, so here we have Ultra Magnus in his robot mode, and he looks very, very cool. Again, he looks very G1-esque, his head sculpt. Very, very close to the animated show, but it's very G1 in its design, which is very nice. He's got the nice Autobot logo, Elite Guard with the bars on there. Just really, really nice paint detail and paint apps. He's even got these military stripes, kind of like Sentinel Prime has, and if you look in the black, you can see this really cool kind of cybernetic molding, and it's also in the red right there. Very, very cool, very, very nice. Now, this guy talks. He does talk. He does make a lot of different sounds. One of the cool things is in his transformation, when you click his shoulders down, he makes the transforming sound, which is very, very cool. I really dig that. And he also has, if you notice up here, his little mouth moves because he talks when you press a button.
Don't be a hero, Optimus. It's not in your programming.
And I like how they used the original actor's voice on the recording.
We must return the old spark to Cybertron. Ultra Magnus here. Don't be a hero, Optimus. It's not in your programming.
So that is very cool. I'm really digging that. The other thing that you can do, again, we had the weapons. I had those displayed in vehicle mode. You can also bring those out in robot mode and make him look, even this is the way I generally pose him, just to make him more menacing looking and more powerful, because he is the Magnus. You can bring these guys up. You gotta flip that piece. Oop. His arms around a little, and then here we go. We've got his big old cannons.
We must return the old spark to Cybertron.
Very cool, very nice. And you can also add the big guns up here at the top. So he is in full-on assault mode. I mean, this guy just looks menacing. This is the way I generally have him looking. Just looking big, badass, powerful, really cool. Now, he's got his little Magnus hammer. I'm going to talk about that. This can be deployed very easily by just pulling down on the shaft. And there it is. Very cool, very nice. It's got a nice little translucent thing in here. Now, it's got a little piece right here. There's actually in his fist, when you open up, there's a slot that you can stick that in. You don't really need to do that to get him to hold it. It kind of stabilizes it, I guess. I really don't mess with it much because, well, he can close the hand and he's got it in there. So there it is, him holding it. The articulation on this guy is pretty darn cool. You can get him to do some pretty cool poses with all the, he's got these nice clicky joints, nice ratchet joints, all kinds of poses that he can go in. Now, he doesn't have any articulation in his hips. His head just kind of spins around. This one's a little stiff, but it does spin about a bit. But his arms and legs can really get some good poses in there. I just basically stand him like this in my collection. I don't really mess with it too terribly much. Now, one thing that is kind of cool, another feature this guy's got, if you look around his neck, around his head there, he's got these little spots for the headmaster that came with Bulkhead. The leader class Bulkhead also has that, and Megatron does too. So you can take that headmaster piece and put it over either Ultra Magnus or Megatron. But the thing of it is, they don't change voices like the Bulkhead figure does, which is kind of disappointing that it doesn't change to the headmaster, but at least it'll go on there, I suppose. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so there he is. Love it to death. He was also repainted, I think, as Roadbuster Ultra Magnus, which kind of had an army, kind of brownish yellow green feel to it. I'm not really sure why they did that. It'd been a lot cooler if they did a G1 color version of this guy, which would be a nice BotCon exclusive, or you could do a Diaclones color of him. That would be kind of nice to see this figure come out in those colors. But all in all, definitely worth picking this guy up if you see him. It's a good, solid figure. It's a big figure, just as a comparison. Here is Transformers Prime Voyager class Bulkhead. So much, much, much bigger. He's a little bit smaller than Air Attack Optimus Primal, but he's definitely one of my favorite figures in the collection. Definitely one of the bigger ones, one of the cooler, one of the more badass figures. So Ultra Magnus, leader of the Autobots, Transformers Animated. Thanks for watching, guys, and look for more videos in the future.
Ultra Magnus here. Don't be a hero, Optimus.